Ohio State students are tackling a growing food problem in Central Ohio. This week, we're looking at a new mobile delivery that's making a difference in our fast-growing region. Plus, more ways for young people to build their careers of the future.
We really push them to graduation. We expose them to careers.
Opportunities are knocking on their door, and we'll talk with the executive director behind this new Columbus program. And the banking boom is all over Central Ohio. Hear why more financial institutions are choosing this region to expand and grow. Central Ohio, it is certainly booming. We all see it and we all can feel it. So here's what we uncovered this week in Boomtown. Hospital care is expanding in Central Ohio. A groundbreaking took place in Mansfield this week, and this will soon be the site of a new nationwide children's hospital and Ohio Health campus, all under one roof. Hospital officials say the partnership makes it easier than ever for families to access high-quality care close to home. And it's not just hospitals growing their footprint, so are the banks. More on that a little later on this episode of This Week in Boomtown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angela Ann. Let's get to our headlines first. Some good news for bus riders this week. COTA's Line 6, also known as Sullivan Route, is undergoing a major service upgrade. Buses that run every 30 minutes on weekdays will now run every 15 minutes. The line takes riders from downtown Columbus to the west side, and COTA says this change comes from the Linkus funding, also one of several changes COTA makes 3 times a year to adjust with growth and demand. Meantime, Columbus State Community College is making room for more affordable housing. Demolition is now underway at 2 long vacant structures. In their place will be a $54 million development called Opportunity Point. Columbus State says 186 apartments will be added to help with Central Ohio's housing crisis, and several units already reserved exclusively for Columbus State students. Now, housing remains a huge challenge for our growing region, and this week, new numbers from the Community Shelter Board showed the supply shortage is driving a rise in homelessness in Central Ohio. The annual point-in-time count came out this week. It is a snapshot of the number of people who are homeless at this moment. And it shows more than 2,500 people are experiencing homelessness right now in Franklin County. This is a more than 1% increase from the year before. Also, the unsheltered homeless population, that jumped 43% this year. And this is the number of people living outside, and also the sharpest increase since 2023. Now, on the positive side of things, family homelessness declined nearly 4% for the second consecutive year. Steve Skovensky from the Community Shelter Board joined us this week on our streaming show, The Big Picture. And I asked him if growth is contributing to this problem. I would be remiss if I did not ask you for our Boomtown series, and we look at challenges of growth. Is this a growth issue that we're seeing, this rise in unsheltered homelessness?
Yes, I think it's related to the housing market. You know, the 2 factors that drive homelessness are rising rents and lowering vacancy rates. And Columbus is among the leader in the country in both of the factors that drive homelessness. So yes, there isn't data that shows homelessness is linked to increasing population growth, but it's related to the housing market. Yes, for sure.
Well, in a fast-growing region like Central Ohio, we know housing is not the only challenge. Food insecurity is also rising, leaving more families struggling to access basic needs. 10 TV's Ava Hedges shows us how a new mobile food pantry is bringing help directly to people who need it the most.
In these boxes that you see here, these are each filled with just over $40 worth of produce, and they're being delivered to neighbors who could use just a little bit of extra help. And it's all being made possible by the mobile pantry.
Hello, are you with Mobile Pantry?
Jack Sportley is a sophomore at The Ohio State University.
How many orders do you have?
Jack is the founder of Mobile Pantry.
2? Perfect. I'll get them right for you.
Mobile Pantry buys kickback produce from the grocery store for a discounted price and then distributes it to people in need. Jack feels that people deserve access to healthy produce in an accessible, dignified way.
And how we see that is through direct delivery. It's those little differences, not having to have the stigma of going to a food pantry. This allows it to be a little bit more human. Thank you, ma'am.
Mobile Pantry is partners with DoorDash, and that's how their orders are delivered, which sometimes catches Dashers off guard.
And they're used to like one McDonald's bag or maybe a few groceries.
So you didn't know when you accepted the order that it was
A pantry? No, I didn't know that.
An unexpected good deed,
you didn't even know you were going to, but you've done something good for the community.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
serving a truly important need.
We love what we do, and it's just been an incredible learning and opportunity to help and serve our community that we love so dearly.
Now, when everything's said and done, Jack tells me that he always leaves just one more box left, and he says that he delivers this one personally. In Columbus, Ava Hedges, 10 TV News.
Well, there is a new sign of Central Ohio's manufacturing boom. Southgate Corporation started construction this week on a $13.5 million spec industrial building. This is in Heath. This massive facility is designed for manufacturing as Licking County continues to see growth in its advanced manufacturing sector. The building expected to be ready by later this year. Well, getting kids excited about manufacturing took center stage this week in New Albany, a new space to show kids all the jobs this industry is creating in the sector.
And we are here to showcase some of the awesome new STEM resources that you guys are going to get to use for the rest of this year.
So this happened in New Albany. Plain local schools celebrating this new investment in STEM education with Amazon's new Think Big Corner. Here's a closer look at students from the primary to middle school. They now have hubs for hands-on learning, and the spaces are like mini labs designed to give them access to technology and real-world problem-solving experiences. We're talking coding, robotics, and so much more. These are all part of a global Amazon initiative to get kids interested in STEM careers much earlier. Now, we have seen many Think Big spaces pop up in Central Ohio schools. They're also designed to get kids interested in STEM, but some of these are actually full-size labs. Students at Jonathan Alder used their Think Big space last year to create items to fly on future Blue Origin missions. How cool is that? And in Hilliard, their first Think Big space was back in 2019. Since then, more than a dozen of these spaces have really opened up all across school districts. And as the push to create a new workforce grows here in Central Ohio, we're seeing more programs to connect young people to meaningful employment and in some of our more underserved areas. There's a new facility that opened this week in East Columbus. It's called All That Works. That stands for Teens Hopeful About Tomorrow, which began in 2009 as a nonprofit. But this location on East Livingston brings together a coordinated effort to connect teens and young adults to real jobs, real training, and real futures. Joining me now to talk more about this program is Danella Hicks, the Executive Director for All That Works. Great to see you. Welcome to This Week in Boomtown. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this program. Where do you see this new workforce development program picking up where the foundation kind of leaves off?
Well, this is just an extension of what we currently do. We'll still have our All That program, but All That Works is the workforce development piece that will allow me to really help our kids get immersed into the workforce. We want to teach them the skills that they need to not just get a job, but to keep a job. And so we're partnering with businesses so that instead of mock interviews that we do with our younger students, we're able to actually help them get hired on with businesses that can help them grow as people and provide opportunities for economic stability.
And when you're talking kids, I mean, we're really talking teens, 16, but then through those early adulthood years, which, I mean, let's face it, when I was 18, 19, 20, I still didn't know what I knew, how to do things. You need someone to guide you.
Yes. So we serve students who are struggling in school. So a lot of them, we really push them to graduation. We expose them to careers, but we really don't have the time to help them understand what it means to keep a job. So through this grant from Job and Family Services, through the AMP program, we're able to immerse our students into the training that they need, help them with soft skills so that they understand the importance of attendance, having a good attitude, understand what appearance looks like, so that when they get jobs and connect with employers that can keep those jobs and be successful adults and ultimately pay their own bills.
Yes. Well, I just love the concept, Danella, behind this. And, when I hear these stories about workforce development programs, I think what's really great is that we're looking at this effort as a community effort, not just something that should fall on parents who might be working 2, 3 jobs. I mean, this is really widespread.
Yes. So for many of our parents, they're economically unstable. So they don't know how to get good jobs. Many of them don't have good jobs on their own. So the skills that we're teaching our students are in many cases new for the parents as well. So we want to make sure that we invite community leaders, businesses in to help explain to our students what it means to be a great employee, what it means to have to have ambition, what it means to step outside and learn more about a particular craft so that they can just perfect their skills.
And on the flip side is you have this Hire 10 challenge, because as we said, this should fall on other people. So you are inviting Columbus businesses into this Hire 10 challenge, a commitment to hiring 10 of the All That Works youth that come out of this program.
Yes. So we want to inspire businesses to get to know our teens, to help them develop the skills that they need, to let them know what training they need. If they offer on-the-job training, we want them to explain that to our students so that they're not just saying, I want to go into the trades, but I want to work for this particular organization, this construction company. I want to do automotive. I want this company. And they have something to strive for. So hope is so important. It allows our students to know there's a place for me in the Columbus community.
That is so beautiful. And Danella, the need is so great. You have a waiting list, I read, of more than 200 teens who are ready to work. They just need to find the access to it.
Yes. So when we think about students who want to join our program, in many cases, the parents who are excited about their kids, the ones who encourage them to do well in school, they sign up immediately. We're looking for the students who have low attendance at schools, who are struggling academically, or who have high behavior instances. If we can reach those young people, we can change our community because they want to work. They just don't know how to get into the job market, or they don't have the skills they need to keep the jobs when they get there.
You're changing the world, Danella Hicks. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, doesn't that look like fun? Sledgehammers swinging, walls coming down, and a new chapter starting in Gahanna. City leaders joined Northwest Bank officials in a demolition this week, marking the start of a major renovation project. The bank is expanding its reach in Central Ohio, building 5 new financial centers all across the region. So the Gahanna Financial Center will be built at the former PNC Bank building. If you know it, that was on Granville Street. Mayor Lori Jadwin says this kind of investment does more than just update a space. It really helps build momentum for the community.
You're taking something that's already existing, you're reimagining it and transforming it into something new. It's a great sustainable approach to development as well. And it was a bank before. It's served many for many generations, and it's wonderful to see it will continue that tradition.
So I want to welcome Yorick Bowers, the Chief Consumer Banking and Strategy Officer for Northwest Bank. Yorick, first of all, congratulations. This is location number 5 for Central Ohio.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're really, really excited about what Columbus is going to bring for us. It is the home to our corporate headquarters here. And really, it's a strategic component for us to fill a gap, not only from Pittsburgh to Indianapolis, where we really didn't have a presence, but just the demographics, the growth, the business-friendly environment that is here in Columbus. It's just a great opportunity for us.
Let's dive deeper, if we can, into that strategy, that growth strategy. You talk about really wanting to come into here, Central Ohio, filling in that gap, that footprint. What exactly are you looking for when it comes to saying, here is where we want to expand and why?
Yeah, so I mean, we're very thoughtful about where we decide to do what we call de novo strategy if we do not have any presence in a market. I mean, we look at demographics and economic growth, how business friendly a particular market is. You also have a great service industry in Columbus with healthcare, a large, well-respected university that has a large number of students. So when you think about that, plus the fact that our executive team is here, many of them live here, and we've been hiring here in terms of bringing in leadership, it just made a ton of sense for us. I think to really put an anchor down in this market. It allows us to do some pilot testing as well, because having new branches under a completely different format in Columbus, we can now get out and see those, and we can do test concepts with design and the way that we run choreography in our branches, and then use that to really retrofit the rest of our network. So we're really excited about it.
Talk about how Northwest is really pivoting that banking experience, because we've got the staples here: Chase, Huntington, KeyBank, Fifth Third. So you're competing by giving consumers a whole new banking experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the experience in Columbus for Northwest will be different than the rest of our network, and then we will move to retrofit. But what we're doing is we have large bank capability here, but we can offer a much more community, customer-friendly, customer service orientation, where customers aren't necessarily numbers, right? We know them by name, and we're able to offer that very personalized service. It's really bringing community banking into sort of a large metro area, which is what we've done in some of our other markets very effectively over our 130-year history.
So what's next for Northwest Bank? Are we going to see more locations popping up all over Central Ohio?
I mean, we do have a long-term strategic plan in terms of our de novo. We're really focused right now on getting these 5 out the door by the end of this year. We love where they're at. And like I had mentioned earlier, you could, other banks might be putting 200, 300, 400 new branches out there across the country. We're very selective in where we go, and we're really, really happy with the locations that we've secured here. So we're really focused on just the success of those and bringing our community-based banking approach to Columbus.
Thank you for your time, York Bowers. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing what else comes our way with Northwest Bank.
Great. Thanks, Angela.
Now, there are other big bank names also on the move. Fifth Third Bank is adding 750 people to downtown Cincinnati, growing its headquarters there by 30%. Now, the Madisonville operations building for Fifth Third was there for more than 2 decades is now up for sale. Those workers will now transfer to the headquarters. Also, Huntington Bank rapidly expanding its footprint, merging with other banks and holdings to create a bigger presence in Texas and the South. You can now find Huntington Bank in 21 states. It's also strengthening the regional brand name through investments like the new Huntington Bank Field, which we know is just outside Cleveland, where the Browns will move to in 2029. Well, as we close, big news for Columbus's growing music scene. Bank of America granted $500,000 to Kappa for this. This is the new music hall in downtown Columbus. Now, it's a former church that will soon become a flexible performance and event venue, creating new art space in town. 10 TV's Jay Plyburn recently went inside that church to learn more about what's to come.
This historic building in downtown Columbus was once filled with hymns and hallelujahs.
We're in the former Central Presbyterian Church.
Built in 1859, it's one of the longest standing structures in all of downtown.
This is the oldest photo we have of this church.
But after more than a decade of silence,
2011 was the last service.
The Columbus Association for the Performing Arts is breathing new life into the space.
We want to reopen it as a music venue,
bringing in a multitude of different sounds while carefully preserving this unique piece of history. Kappa is raising money to transform the former church into a community event space.
We're about $10 million towards our $14 million goal.
Unlike Kappa's other theaters, this one will have a stage that moves.
So we're calling it a performance platform. It can be in the middle of the room, it can be at the far end. So if someone wants to do a really intimate show with the platform in the middle, we can build a small platform in the middle and keep the rest of the floor open.
Theater in the round, you might call it.
Theater in the round, that's exactly right.
How many can you put in that main space?
For a standing room concert, 690.
Where does that compare to the other? I mean, obviously it's falling short of the Ohio Theater in some places, but It's not the smallest of the venues, is it?
No, it won't be the smallest. It fits in a gap where we have a deficit.
The build-out involves a new HVAC system, even a rooftop bar.
It reshapes the model of what it means to be in a Kappa venue.
And many facets of the former church are staying in place, like the iconic stained glass window.
Built here in Columbus by the Von Grichten Glass Studio.
The chandeliers.
We're going to put some LEDs in them.
And parts of the original pipe organ.
Our intention is to make them scenery.
Not to mention the building itself.
Is it safe to say that this project is saving this structure?
Absolutely, yeah. A developer wanted the property. Obviously, it's a marquee piece of land downtown. That did not sit right with the congregation, and they came to Kappa and asked us to develop a reuse plan and purchase the church from them.
If all goes well, by fall of 2027, the same space that once lifted voices and worship will once again be filled with music, just a different kind.
Kappa has a great history of rehabilitating historic buildings. This is part of our mission, and it's our way to give back to the city.
And it's a beautiful way to do that. We do know growth comes with its challenges and growing pains, but there are solutions, as you just saw. So we do want to hear from you. If you have questions related to Central Ohio's rapid growth, just text us 614-460-3345. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always drop a question right there in the comment section as well. Thanks so much for watching This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. We'll see you again next week.